The EU Remainers plot one last time to extend the Brexit transition, the Conservative MPs plan to vote for a no-deal Brexit, and the Eurozone is getting closer to collapsing. Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We only have 10 days left to the end of the Brexit transition period, and the EU Remainers are getting desperate. In this video and the next video at 8 p.m, there's a lot of negativity. Everything's going badly, but I'm going to show you the positive angle from all this. It really depends on how you see a glass of water, the empty half or the full half. So let's start with Brexit, and then we're going to talk about what's happening with the travel ban and the whole chaotic situation of lockdown. Firstly, The Sun is talking about, Harry Cole has written about the latest on Brexit talks, which is nothing, absolutely no updates. Both sides are still talking, and they were planning to have another deadline, but then they've just given up and said, let's just have the 31st of December as the deadline. I mean, that was already the plan, guys. So they're still talking, and nothing's actually changed. Neither side is compromising. By this point, everybody from the Brexit side were expecting Boris Johnson to compromise and cave in. He still hasn't done it. So he's doing a good job so far. With everything else is going wrong, at least this is going well. Now, the issue that we have is that, firstly, even the Independent is now talking about how Michel Barnier comes out every day to say that we have reached a crucial moment. We still need to talk. We're getting very close. We've got 95%, 96% of the deal agreed. If it's really about that small percentage, considering the both areas, whether it's the level playing field, which is the European Union wanting to control our actual regulations and laws in the name of fair competition, or fisheries, are only 5%, I don't believe that. It's really not just the 5% that's about those two issues. This is the fundamentals of the single market and the customs union. Now, in reality, what's actually happening is that the pro-European, the European Union side are coming out, from Tory MPs, some of them, to journalists and everybody who are in all these groups, campaign groups to rejoin the EU. We have Tobias Ellwood, the MP in south of England, who we talked about him recently, how he's a hypocrite on the lockdown issues. Now he's tweeted saying that let Brexit talks continue. The biggest decision in a generation. 98% agreed, exceeding Canada's. So yes, it's moved on from 95% to 98%. 72%. Level playing field in fisheries and state aid, 2%. But these are far from ideal conditions to rationally determine our future prosperity and security terms. If there is no deal by New Year's, let's do what's best for the UK and pause the clock. That's the first goal, to extend the talks. But Tobias Ellwood, no one really cares about what he says. This guy, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, he's tweeted, I'm urging the government to officially seek an extension to the Brexit transition period. Who are you to urge the government? Sadiq Khan, as the Mayor of London, has managed to destroy our capital city. He hasn't done what he promised to do. And he's now somehow getting involved with foreign affairs. Not sure why, but he thinks he has some sort of position. He's saying that securing our key supply chains and fighting, the whole pandemic and everything else, we really needs focus and efforts. And he's also issued a statement, which we're not going to go through because it's just nonsensical rant. Now, the next one, Alistair Campbell, he's back. He's been quite bored recently, so he's again tweeting saying that demand an extension to the transition. Blindly obvious. These people are sitting in the echo chambers and thinking that people are waiting to hear their opinion on this. Whether Brexit is right or wrong, the vote has happened. Whether Brexit is right or wrong, we have already left the European Union, and we have 10 days left to either get a trade deal or leave on WTO terms. We're not going to get any deal. We should not get any deal that will tie us to the European Union. And then you think that's bad. Nicola Sturgeon, another expert in foreign affairs, has come out to say that it's imperative that the Prime Minister should seek an agreement now to extend the transition period, because we are facing a lot of serious challenges and it demands our 100% attention. I promise you, even if we weren't going through all the lockdown situations and problems, these people would have still come out to find an excuse to ask for a transition extension to the transition. It's just nonsensical. But let's go to the next expert, because there are a lot of Remainers who have good opinions. Carol Cadwell, though, as I say, Carol Baskin of Brexit. She's come out again saying, literally trapped on the Brexit island. I mean, this is about, obviously, the European countries banning travel from the UK to the rest of the Europe. I'm more concerned that we as Brexiteers are stuck on this island with people like Carol Baskin. But yeah, so they're all having a meltdown. If you think this is funny, we still have 10 days to go. As we get closer to the deadline, these meltdowns are going to get even funnier. Now, the biggest issue I have is with people like Guy Verhofstadt, who is one of the MEPs, who is a federalist, who wants to he actually wants to get rid of the European Parliament having vetoes and the European Council having vetoes as well. He wants a completely centralized machine. He came out to say that we should, in the name of fair competition, we should not allow the UK to be independent and sovereign.
It will be far more devastating for our companies if the outcome of this negotiation is an unfair competition in their disadvantage. That is the reason why we have to continue to be very clear on this. There has to be a level playing field. No unfair competition can be accepted. Also on fish. If they want that we eat their fish, well, we have to have the possibility to catch their fish in their waters.
I mean, not only that's just nonsense, this is the same guy who's also come back out, the rest of the speech, he just, having this usual rant in the European Parliament. He also said that the younger generation are pro-European, he actually said pro-European, which has nothing to do with being pro-EU, and that's the biggest problem. This is how they brainwash a lot of people. They say, well, if you're pro-European, you have to be pro-EU. And it says that the United Kingdom we will rejoin the European Union.
Erasmus. It's a pro-European generation, this young generation, and it's this generation who will bring back the UK inside the European family in the next decades.
I mean, if you really think that, then there are other problems that you need to actually address, Verhofstadt. So we're dealing with this guy. At the same time, Michel Barnier, the chief negotiator for the European Union, has come out finally to say this, which is really interesting. Depends how you read this. Both the EU and the UK must have the right to set their own laws and control their own waters. Brilliant. That's great. Took him 4.5 years to actually discover this, that both sides just need to protect their own territories and their rights. Yet, the rest of it is interesting. And we should both be able to act when our interests are at stake. In case you don't know what he means, he's talking about punishment and imposing tariffs if the UK don't do what the European Court of Justice tells them to do. So this is not actually, ignore the first part of the tweet, he's saying the right things just to be able to put the second sentence to use his warnings and heads up. Ignore Michel Barnier, it doesn't mean anything because this article in the Telegraph is actually talking about how the government is already warning Emmanuel Macron and France that, because Macron is hoping that the UK could continue the negotiations in January. Government from London has come out to say that, no, if Macron genuinely believes this, he needs to change his mind. We actually have a senior government source dismissing the idea as fantasy and insisted that it makes no sense to reject the deal now only to accept it weeks later. And that's absolutely true. They've said that if we leave without a deal, there will inevitably be criticism of the government, even though the Prime Minister has made it clear that we will thrive either way. Why on earth would we go through that if we intended to go back to Brussels cap in hand a few weeks later and accept a deal we have already rejected? Well, that's a fair point, and I genuinely hope that Downing Street continue to believe this line, because we have Tory MPs and Brexiteers in Parliament who are already planning, the ERG, the European Research Group, planning to vote against the deal if the deal would compromise our sovereignty and democracy. There is the issue because obviously they have a WhatsApp group and various tools where there's a lot of chatter going on, saying that there's a lot of activities on these WhatsApp groups saying that we are divided between those who say, let's just suck it up and get this done, and others who say that they have fought for their entire careers for this and will not vote for a deal that is not really Brexit. And I really hope that's true, because the Labour Party could still vote for it. I think knowing Keir Starmer, he's just going to come out and abstain. So Boris Johnson could be in trouble if the deal is not a proper Brexit. At the same time, we have the advantage. Even CTAM is talking about how the Eurozone and the European Union are already in trouble. No one in the Western media, especially in Europe, Euronews and others, are talking about this. The situation in Europe is really bad. Deflation is already settling in, and the Eurozone inflation rate was at this point negative 0.3% back in September, and it's already going down. Even in August was 0.2% negative. And the issue that they're facing is countries like Greece and Italy and Spain, who will soon be the European Central Bank's economic colonies, because the central banks are controlling every aspect of their finances, and they don't really have enough money to actually pay them back. Same situation that Greece was facing back in 2014 and 15 with Germany and the European Union in general. Now, the problem for them is that in this time of no inflation and there's absolutely no growth, Southern European debt rates actually look set to explode to unmanageable levels. And the European Union, considering the Commission are supposed to be controlling all these things, and they say that no, every country has to decide for themselves. It's not true. European Central Bank has said they can't really manage this, and the Eurozone is in trouble, and they need Britain as their partner. They cannot afford no deal Brexit. And the UK, good news. As I said, I'm just going to give you the positive angle on this. We are about to sign a trade deal with India. So another huge economy, £100 billion worth of trade deal with India. What the government has done, they've sent Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary, to have a chat with the Indian government to develop our strong relationship. And then obviously in January, as expected, Boris Johnson is also going to be creating these talks with India. If this happens, I mean, I was really hoping that the negotiations with India happen before the transition period ends. But as long as we have the indication that's happening, the European Union should be panicking right now. We are signing all these trade deals left, right, and centre, and Liz Truss is becoming a hero of Brexit or post-Brexit Britain, and the European Union are still going out and asking for our fish. Are you joking? So the next video, 8 p.m., I'm going to give you the latest update on what's happening with the border situation and the lockdown. Everything is chaotic, but again, I'm going to give you some good news on that. So 8 p.m., make sure to tune in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and get your merchandise if you do believe in Britain. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.